we have huge news in the UFC's light heavyweight division. Navajo Stirling is stepping in there against Jan Blachowicz, the number 4 ranked light heavyweight contender, former champ, the crafty vet himself, Jan Blachowicz. Navajo Stirling, the undefeated surging contender coming off a TKO win. This is going to be a crazy fight. We have a lot of movement, a lot of activity occurring in the light heavyweight division, and I'm going to be breaking it all down in today's video. Hit that subscribe button if you don't mind. Navajo Stirling, I'm going to start with this. I'm going to talk about Khalil Roundtree. I'm going to talk about Ankalaev. We must start with Navajo Stirling. This is a huge, huge step up ever since he made his UFC light heavyweight debut. The UFC has been behind this man like a rocket. I think they see him as maybe the next Adesanya, maybe the next big thing out of CKB. He is a massive light heavyweight. He's a fast, quick, powerful, extremely marketable, likable dude. And the UFC has just strapped a rocket behind this guy, and they are promoting him to the moon and back. They're giving him a massive step up against Jan Blachowicz, similar to how they did Carlos Ulberg, who is the current champ. Interesting dynamics there, considering Carlos and Navajo are at the same gym. We'll see what happens if Navajo gets this win, because he's going to be ranked number 4 or 5 in the world. And he's going to realistically be 1 or 2 fights away from a title shot. When Carlos beat Jan Blachowicz, he got the Dominic Reyes fight, and then he got a title fight against Yuri. So I think if Nav beats Jan, they might give him Yuri, and then the winner of that will fight for the title. Might even fight for an interim belt if Carlos Ulberg is going to be out. But this is a huge step up, a massive step up in competition. Navajo Stirling, 10-0, undefeated. There's some holes in the game. There's definitely some holes in the game. He got taken down in his last fight. He looks beatable. He honestly looks beatable for an undefeated guy coming out of City Kickboxing who's massive, huge. The guy weighs probably about 230 pounds. There are certainly holes in the game. He does look a little bit slow on the feet sometimes. Realistically, though, he looks like a Dan Hooker and Israel Adesanya hybrid, right? He's kind of got the striking credentials of an Adesanya. Not maybe to the same level, maybe not the same flashiness. He's a bit more basic. He's a bit more flat-footed. But the striking's there. The striking's there. He's definitely a CKB baby. You can see that style is embedded in him. And this is a huge, huge step up. I can't say that enough. He's fighting the number 4 ranked guy in the world. He is currently unranked. Navajo Stirling. He's been fighting blobs. He's been fighting bums. They've been trying to build his record. His last fight, he got a TKO. His last one before that was a decision. They've been trying to build this guy up, and they've been trying to market this guy. And I think it's working. Huge step up. Now, do I think he's going to beat Jan Blachowicz? I don't. That's my honest thought. I don't think. Jan Blachowicz is extremely underrated. I like Navajo Stirling. I think he's a likable dude. I've met him before. He's a nice guy. He's a very down-to-earth character coming out of New Zealand. But I think this is just too much too soon for the guy. I really do. I think it's too much too soon for Navajo Stirling. He's fighting the number 4 guy, Jan Blachowicz. I'm just going to go through very quickly the resume of Jan Blachowicz. Now, he's not in his prime anymore. He is out of his prime. But he doesn't get labeled the crafty vet for nothing. There's something about his style that allows him to compete with the best of the best, even as his speed and his cardio noticeably have gone down over the years. First and foremost, right, he's a former champ. He's beaten Adesanya. His first title defense was against a prime Adesanya. Obviously, he outweighed Adesanya. It was a close fight. He still beat Israel Adesanya in his prime. There's only one of 2 or 3 men in the UFC that can lay claim to a defeat over prime Adesanya, and Jan Blachowicz is one of them. He beat Adesanya. He arguably beat Magomed Ankalaev, which was ruled a draw. He arguably beat Alex Pereira, which was a split decision. In any case, they were both extremely close fights, and those two are the best light heavyweights in the world, outside of Carlos Ulberg. And most importantly, he arguably beat Carlos Ulberg. That fight they had was extremely, extremely close. You look at the numbers. Blachowicz was actually up on the numbers over Carlos Ulberg. Many people believe that they gave Carlos that win because he was more marketable and he was more likely to become a champ over the aging veteran in Jan Blachowicz. So he's making it close with the best guys in the world, and he's been in there with the best guys in the world. Navajo Stirling does not have that body of experience. He's a young guy, he's got youth on his side, and sometimes when the UFC makes this young guy versus veteran type of matchup, the young guy goes out there and puts on a beatdown and a performance. But most of the time, the unk prevails. We see that all the time. We see that time and time again. The old guard in MMA is very hard to wash away. It's one of those sports where, surprisingly, age can just be a number. Age truly can just be a number. We look at all the champs right now. They're all 35 pushing 36. So I'm going to take Jan in this fight. But I think it's a very, very cool thing that the UFC is doing. They're pushing this guy. And Navajo's only going to learn from this fight. He's only going to learn from this fight. And he's only going to get better. It might be his first defeat. And we'll see how he recovers from that. But he seems like a down-to-earth. He seems like a humble guy. It's just cool to see the UFC pushing Navajo Stirling. I'm a big Navajo Stirling fan. I will be rooting for him, but I just think Jan's going to get it done. This is a huge fight in the light heavyweight division. A lot of movement has been occurring recently. And this segues nicely onto the next topic of this video. Khalil Rountree is out of his fight against Magomed Ankalaev. Very, very interesting. He got injured, and the replacement is Bogdan Gustov. I'm surprised Navajo Stirling's not the replacement. If they're putting him in there against Jan, then maybe that's telling. But in any case, Bogdan Gustov, the number 12 ranked guy, the guy who was supposed to fight Jan Blachowicz, I guess that's why they made that fight. I guess because Jan didn't have an opponent, and so they put Navajo in there. But very interesting. I think Magomed's going to get it done. Bogdan Gustov is shit. He went to a draw with Jan Blachowicz. Realistically, I think Jan won that fight. The story of Jan's career, he's always making it close with these guys. He's always making it close with these contenders, and the UFC just does not seem to be a big fan of him, which is quite sad for him, to be honest with you. But he is 42. He's getting up there a bit. In any case, Bogdan Gustov versus Magomed Ankalaev, very interesting. Pretty easy win for Magomed, I would say. Magomed's just, he's on another level. He's better than all these guys, except for Pereira and maybe Olberg. But yeah, we'll see what happens. Khalil Rountree, I'm sad to see him out. Khalil Rountree, I think is a future champ. I think he's a future champ. I think if he puts it all together, he can be champ. But he's just been unlucky as of late. And that's the way it goes sometimes. Massive news in the UFC light heavyweight division. And we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. This is a division that is extremely exciting. This is a division with a lot of movement. We've got Robert Whittaker moving up. We've got Paulo Costa moving up. If I were to matchmake the UFC's light heavyweight division really quickly, I would do the winner of Ankalaev versus Bogdan Gustov for a title, an interim title, and I would put them in there against... I'll put them in there against Paulo Costa, and I'd do Rob Whittaker versus the winner of Navajo Stirling versus Jan Blachowicz. Very interesting. And then the interim champ, who I think would be Magomed Ankalaev. I think Ankalaev would be Paulo Costa. And I think the interim champ can go in there and face Carlos when he's back. When he's not poking Israel Adesanya's girlfriend or causing beef at City Kickboxing or making stupid, unfunny Instagram reels. Carlos Olberg's been making Instagram reels recently. Cool, bro. No one gives a shit, mate. You're the light heavyweight champion of the world and you've got 100,000 followers. I know meme accounts that post I show speed clips that have more followers than Carlos Olberg. But anyway, Carlos Olberg, he's a nothing champion, to be honest with you. No one really gives a shit about him. He can fight the winner. He can fight the winner, and maybe that'll give him some star power. If it's Paulo Costa, that would be great, because Paulo Costa would obviously shit talk. And then there's that, I guess. But we'll see what happens. Very interesting movement in the light heavyweight division, despite having a champion that is not very popular or liked, especially after he went out there and beat everyone's favorite fighter, Yuri Prohaska. Such is life. It is what it is. There's my breakdown. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comments below. Navajo Stirling versus Jan Blachowicz. This video is probably going to get like 20 views, but am I the only one that is fucking hyped about Navajo Stirling fighting the number 4 guy ranked in the world? This is absolutely insane work from the UFC. Unranked to number 4, facing a former champion as his friend is the current champ of the division. This is going to be insane. If he wins this fight, we might see Navajo Stirling fight his mate. We might see him leave CKB and fight Carlos Olberg. I'm just spitballing, but let me know what you guys think about this in the comments below. Big, big, big news. Like and subscribe. Much love. I'll see you boys later. You guys ever just think like what you're doing with your life, Like I'm doing my thing, I'm studying, I'm trying to make this YouTube thing work, but there's just like an emptiness sometimes, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, it's life, man, you know what I mean? Like and subscribe. I'll see you boys later.